I'm Kortni Portia and I am owner and fashion designer of Kortni Portia, the label.
Well, my name is Nikki Hind. I am apparently Australia's first legally blind fashion designer, which I'm incredibly proud of and a little surprised about.
Salomon Lukonga, the founder of which is now known as Salomon.
Hey guys, so my name is Kiara and I'm 19 years old. I'm the fashion designer and creative director for my brand Kiara Designs. I think COVID has been really hard on a lot of creatives, whether it be designers, models, photographers. It's really hit hard into our creative industry as a whole, I think. Obviously, with everyone being sent into lockdown, people aren't really needing handmade custom dresses for events or anything like that. So I've kind of had to adapt. I started doing the cotton masks and kind of going harder on the swimwear in regards to marketing, because obviously people are at home, you can sort of relax, tan and all that kind of thing. But in another sense, as a designer, it's so helpful to be able to do events and shoots, and obviously lockdown has made that really difficult, like it's not really an option. So it's been hard not being able to get out amongst the creative community and connecting and just creating together. It's all just basically gone into our own little boxes.
Well, the first collection was ready just as it all hit, so I guess I could have released the first collection because people went crazy for buying online. We're all stuck at home. I know I bought things I don't need online and everybody I know did as well rather. But for me, the experience of my Blind Grit team is crucial. So I wanted my models to model the first collection. I wanted my photographers to be the ones who took the photos. I wanted my team to work on it, and of course we couldn't gather together to do that. We had the wonderful T2, who make all the beautiful teas, part of Unilever, offer to join us and work with my brilliant team to capture that first collection. So my choice was to just wait. So that has put everything back months, really, because it'll be a while until we can gather and do that, but it's really important to me. It's worth the wait. So that was certainly one big way that COVID affected the way I'm working.
So yeah, actually when COVID-19 started, I was in Hong Kong getting production made for one of my upcoming collection called Going on the Moon. But I was basically forced to come back home due to COVID-19 and everything shutting down over there. So I came back here. I was obviously quite upset because I've spent a lot of money going there and getting productions made and everything. But coming back here sort of like shifted my mind a bit more to sort of like see a different approach to things, and which is like really, really tough, because change is one of those things that is, it's quite tough to transform from this end to this other end. But it was very challenging, but also I'm very grateful for the moment, because I was forced to see things from a different sort of view. And yeah, so in terms of production, I've now found a local manufacturer, and even the fabrics are made locally. So
one of the most really disappointing things right now, and I'm sure a lot of other creators are feeling this, is fashion shows have been cancelled, media events have been cancelled, and it's all that uncertainty and the unknown, and you can kind of feel like you've been a little bit disconnected, especially like I do from the fashion community. So I think it's really important, like now than ever, to collaborate, to inspire, to encourage, but to also support each other through this.
During the COVID lockdown, I certainly chose to just stop everything for a little while, just let go of everything. I am a fan of gentle disruption. I think, I think it can be really, really valuable. Most people, families, organisations, governments don't invest in disruption because it's difficult, it's hideously expensive, it can be very, very stressful for a lot of people. But of course, I think genuine innovation, genuine reflection, a connection to the things that are genuinely important to you, I was going to say can only come, but maybe can come in such a big, strong, clear way when there is disruption. So
maintaining creativity and inspiration for me right now isn't really that different to how I would usually go through my creative process. I think every process is different, but also for me, each collection, inspiration, how that comes, how that forms, how I project it is actually different every time.
COVID-19 is tough. It's been tough for most designers. For me, normally when I design, I go to a state library in Brisbane City. That's where I feel more like at home. But to be able to create something unique, something pure, which is like what the future of my brand is. Because I can't do it at home due to the noises and the kids. I always get so distracted. So I guess it's supposed to be at home, as obviously the library is supposed to close, and so I have to be home and sort of like try to find a different approach when it comes to designing. Which is tough, but now I'm more aware on like how things happen in the world, and I'm well prepared. I would say I'm well prepared for anything that happens.
I think times like these, given there's such a shock to the system, it can be hard to maintain that creativity and inspiration. But for me, I tend to not look into the outside world or the fashion industry to gain ideas. I'm more inspired by nature and just getting into my zone and just letting ideas come to me. That to me has always been something I love and a stress release. So I try not to put too much pressure on myself to be creative in these times, and I just make sure that I let it happen naturally the same way I always have. When I am feeling inspired, I will sit down and create, but if it's a hard day, like, I am being gracious with myself because this is not easy for anyone to adapt to. But yeah, as long as I can get out in nature and just be at peace, that's when I can create beautiful things.
If you're genuinely designing something, if you are designing a piece of clothing and you're trying to set up a manufacturing chain, it's really difficult to have it the combination of ethical, affordable, timely and good quality. I've had a really difficult time doing this, and I know when I speak to some of Australia's other emerging designers, it's the same thing. It's a real stumbling block.
I'm extremely passionate about ethical and sustainable production. I think that this pandemic has actually brought to light some of the major issues within the industry that we've been facing for a long time.
Ethics in the fashion world has always been something I've been very passionate about, and I feel deeply sad in knowing the cost of human lives behind sweatshops and mass production in factories overseas. It's something that I don't think people think about very much, even though I know there's much more light on it nowadays than there was maybe 10 years ago, and things are starting to change, but it's definitely a different culture, like especially in China. The way they run things over there, it's very sad to know that people aren't paid properly, or they work ridiculous hours or in shocking conditions to pump out the massive quantities that big chain stores require in fashion. I promised myself that I would not ever, link my model into that way of doing things. So hence why I am all handmade at the moment, and if I do decide I want to go overseas, it's very important to me that I know that it is ethical, and yeah, I will take the time and the effort and the money if I do decide to go outside of making my own clothes. So yeah, obviously my model isn't perfect, but I'm striving to achieve the most ethical outcome possible within my label. I would love to be able to have my label 100% Australian based, but obviously my fabrics are from overseas. But I really do hope to see a change in my lifetime in the industry as a whole, because consumerism culture has driven the way it is. People just want more and more and more. They're not as interested in having a few good quality pieces and paying more for it, because it's just easier to go downtown and get something cheap off the shelf, and then you just want to have a different outfit for every occasion. I know I've been guilty for that kind of mentality, but I think it's something that we need to think about moving forward in the world, especially with COVID kind of waking people up to how things are running. You know, I don't think it's the way it has to be.
So, for example, some of the, couple of the major luxury brands were showing up to 16 collections a year, have now scaled it back to just 2. And I think that's a really positive transformational change that we've seen out of this pandemic for the fashion industry.
So I wouldn't say that my process for creating my next collection has changed as such. I'd say it's just been very delayed. Obviously, with COVID affecting just pretty much everything, things have been slower and the creating process has been slower. I've just been taking the time to sort of reevaluate my label and the look I want to produce, and just taking the time to allow new ideas to flow. And obviously accessing fabrics has been quite difficult. My supplier was on lockdown for quite some time when I would have usually been, testing samples and going back and forth, I guess. So that's made things slower, but things are starting to roll again now. Yeah, it just might take a little bit more time to bring out a new collection than what I would have planned. I did have an idea that between now and releasing my next collection, it'd be cool to just release some one-off custom pieces done up with very, very limited local fabrics, like upcycling and vintage fabrics. I think that could be something really unique and special. But yeah, there's a few different ideas that I've been sort of enlightened with, and there's lots of different things that we can do to make the most of this time and do something a bit different perhaps.
So this will be the second collection, and I'm sure my fellow emerging designers probably all gone through the same experience, that the first one's really, really difficult, not the designing of it, but the process of getting it up and out there and manufacture ready, retail ready. Yeah, absolutely, it's changed, because the way I created the first one is just not, I just couldn't find somewhere within Australia, and I did want it done within Australia that could do it in a timely, high enough quality, affordable manner, and I just couldn't find somebody who I felt could work with me creatively, because I want to be really innovative with what I create, and I want someone to be excited about different ideas and different fabrics and different ways of sizing things, and being able to take a design and then have it, be able to size it around someone who only has one arm, or who sits in a wheelchair the majority of the time, or who, I know we have the technology. I think there's no mad drive or desire, so the money's not there currently, but I know we have the technology and the capability, so I want to set things up so as we can really personalise designer garments to all sorts of people, regardless of your lifestyle and your level of disability, your comfort requirements. So yeah, absolutely, it's changed, and this has been a nice lockdown period of time to work on some of that.
The development process for this next collection has definitely changed in the production sense. You know, I have a small team of people that I work with, usually when designing and producing that next collection. And it is a little bit weird. I mean, right now we're not being able to meet face to face. Soon, hopefully, those things will lift, but I guess the difference right now is I'll be doing a lot more work on my own at home. And yeah, just adapting to the circumstances and getting it done.
With COVID-19, now I think it was a bit of a test for everyone really, and now we sort of find different ways to go forward. And you know, just the fact that we're breathing right now, I think that is the biggest blessings, and I think just continue creating, continue finding ways for the future, for the young ones forward.